This week, I have the opportunity, I have the opportunity to have an incredible conversation with a young person I met a few weeks ago. His name is Kenzo, and we're going to have an incredible conversation as I discover how he learned about race. Dig in, y'all. I hope this is going to be good. It's always good. Perspective is always encouraged. I'm babbling at this point. Well, hello, Kenzo. Welcome to Race Kiki with Jonathan Lee.
Hello. Oh,
Okay.
snap.
Young, beautiful, beautiful human. Before I ask my question, give me your backstory.
Ooh. Um, I was born in New York.
Hmm.
I I was born to Spanish parents. My dad is half African.
Hmm.
Um, I lived in Louisiana for about a couple of years.
Where
And
in
through my
Louisiana?
I lived in Lafayette in southern
Okay.
Louisiana.
Okay. I know it.
Yeah. And it was it was fun. Like I lived there for about I think 15 years or so.
Well,
And
how
then
old were you when you moved there?
I don't remember how old I was there when I moved back to Louisiana, but I remember I was in sixth grade.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that range, and I'm 27 now. So, and then I moved back to Louisiana from sixth grade, from back to New York from Louisiana, and then yeah, now I'm here.
When did you move back to New York?
I moved back to New York my freshman year of college.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you
So,
come out?
ooh, I came out at 16. Yeah, to my
In
mom.
Louisiana.
Yeah, and it was a big argument too. I
Wait, you came out twice?
Because the first one was a big argument, and the second one, I had to really just be like, okay, mom, I'm gay, and you're here to get it again, so let's do this.
How much distance was between the first and second coming out?
The first one was 16, and the second one was my mom came up to visit me during World Pride.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, there's so many landmines here but I'm going to ask my introductory question.
Absolutely.
When did you learn about race?
I learned about race pretty young, and I feel like I'm always constantly being reminded of my race. And yeah.
Wait. Okay. You said you're 27.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, that means I remember the year you were born. Oh my God, I'm old. Anyway, so tell me again, I need you to unpack this race with me. Um, Tell me when you learned about race, and then I'm going to circle back to constantly being reminded because I'm very interested about that.
Mm. So I learned about race when I went to school in Louisiana and realized I was probably like one out of 20 Black kids in the only whitest school ever. Like I walked into my gymnasium and it was just like white kids everywhere. And I was like, oh shit, this is not gonna be it. Yeah,
Go on.
especially for me being from the Bronx, it was a whole entire thing.
You're in Lafayette.
Yep.
I can. Okay. Okay, let me collect myself. I'm only laughing because when I'm from Mississippi,
Hmm.
and we moved around a lot. And I've spoken the way that I speak since I was like 12 years old. When we moved back to Mississippi, when I was in high school, the kind of, and I went back to an all black school. So when I opened my mouth, I was always confronted with, where's the white boy?
Mm.
And I was always felt made to feel as if I didn't fit in because of the way that I spoke and dressed and carried myself.
Right.
So, did any of that reflect in you because of you're a New Yorker, you're coming down to Lafayette, Louisiana?
Oh, totally. I went that I remember my first day of school. I was in a red polo shirt and some red high tops,
Cute.
and I was looking, for me, I was looking cute.
She
But
thought
for
she was the
them,
best she ever did it.
for real. And my mother did me well.
Mhm.
But for them, I was, oh, I never seen this before. What is all of this?
Who does she think she is? Mhm.
Right. And not only that, like it it brought them to a whole entire different diaspora of energy that they just didn't see like before. Like they didn't I didn't think they saw Jordans or something like that. And it became, I don't know, it was just
Now, in that white space, by you presenting the way that you did, and I remember small towns in the South or non-big cities in the South. I remember it, and it was everybody had a uniform, if you will.
yeah,
Everybody looked similar, and
yeah.
when you show up and you're gussied up in a different fashion, the energy can be very either accepting, oh my God, look at this, ooh, she is doing it, or who is this bitch think she is, coming after you, trying to talk dirty, trying to make you feel a certain way. Either
But it
one of
was
those happen, or
mm,
all of that.
all of it, but it was also I was wearing the school uniform because the shirts, the uniform was red, white, and blue polo shirts with
Uh-huh.
cap and just dress sneakers and whatever.
But
So I was like,
you did
so
it
I was
differently.
matching and I was looking great. And I
Hmm.
guess they just when they saw me and they saw the latest Jordans because at the time my mother used to love to shop for the latest Jordans for me because kids' clothes. And then I had my polo shirt and I was dressed nice. When they realized I was from New York, they thought I had money. They thought I
Hmm.
was this.
Hmm.
They thought I
Hmm.
was just that. So all the questions that they asked were just like ridiculous. And then they saw my last name and it was just it,
What were the questions being asked?
they asked, um, oh, you must have a lot of money because I see you have Jordans and stuff like that. And I was just like, it took me back a little bit where, yeah, they would ask me a lot about money. They would
Uh-huh.
ask, they asked me a lot about, I remember this one girl, she's just like, your last name is different. Um, does that mean you have Mexican in you? And I'm just like, no.
Hmm. Hmm.
She's like, you're clearly not from here. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like those little questions here and there. Yeah. I would get constantly reminded of that I was not from here. And
You're
even
not black, black.
yeah. Oh yeah, you're not black, black. And then the
I don't
black
even
kids,
think of you as black.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
My life story. Oh my goodness.
Oh
Not
my God, me too.
it's it's funny because oh my God. People people used to not always mistake me. She was like, oh, I would assume that you were ghetto, especially that you're from New York. And yeah, they would
Mhm.
get to that point. Like, oh, people from New York was ghetto. That oh, when I came down in Jordans, there was like they would always move away for a little bit. And like I was a kid. I was a kid. All I was trying to do is just get my little education so I can
And
go
get the
back to
hell
the
out of there.
yeah. But no, they left stirring the pot out there. So it was
Now,
mhm,
when young little glamazon Kenzo was in uh, Louisiana, Lafayette, navigating through all of this foolishness in his predominantly um, white schooling and what have you. And then puberty kicked in, and you started noticing them pectorals more than you started noticing heavy bosoms.
mhm.
How did that factor in to the way you saw yourself and or the people that you were attracted to?
Whew. It was interesting because learning to explore, like I thought I loved women. I thought
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, but I've always seen I've always seen there was a little bit of extraness with guys that I've picked up on as a
Mm-hmm.
kid. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that,
That was your
and
ministry.
yeah, that it
Mm-hmm.
was good for me. And
Mm-hmm.
then for some reason, not for some reason, but for it just I don't know what's the word. It just got what's the word?
You just
She
knew.
I just knew.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew from the back. I just knew in the back of my head that I knew that I was different, that I knew I liked guys. And again, people will always point it out to me before I could even make that decision for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, for me, it was hard. It was hard to deal with because I wanted to make that discovery. And although I'm very grateful that I made my discovery that I am gay, that I just wish I could make that. I could have my own coming out story instead of people trying to push me out of the closet. You know what I mean?
You weren't ready.
I wasn't ready. I
Well,
wasn't ready. Yeah, I wasn't ready.
now, who was your first crush? You don't have to say any names. You can change the names to protect the innocent.
Hmm. I was in first grade, and
Now that was here in New York, first
yeah,
grade. Okay.
yeah, and scratch. I think I always knew I was gay,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready to come out. But my first crush ever was this guy in my I think it was my second grade class. He was taller than me. He had big ears. He was tan. He was Spanish. He was super sweet. He was the only kid that was very nice to me in class.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I had a crush on him when he moved away, and I cried for weeks.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
like I lost my friend. I lost the person who I was destined to be friends forever with. And friends
Okay.
forever felt something different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Now, take me back to Louisiana. And who was the first boy that blew her skirt up?
Oh, oh yeah. I'm just gonna call him Pop.
Pop. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
We
we'll
can
call
call
him
him
Pop.
Pop.
So yeah, it was this guy named Pop. He was there was something about him. It was just
Hmm.
something about him. He just gave off energy. He just gave off that energy of just like, and I would see him the way he walks and the way he even talks to our friends and stuff like that. And it was just like, oh, like he's big dog in town, and I loved it. I loved I loved it. I was living for it. I was living my fantasy. I was like, hey.
Oh.
And as I got comfortable around Pop, it just became a whole entire, oh, you're gay, type of scenario. And like I had
Hmm.
to pull back and get defensive. And once I got once it was just like, no. And like once everybody else started to talk and he started to pull away and I started to get tense and angry, like I started to get all my frustration on him. And so we will constantly fight in school.
Hmm.
Yeah. Rather than,
Just just do
mm,
what y'all was supposed to be doing. And
amen.
but maybe that wasn't his ministry.
Right. Right.
Now, was Pop our cousin?
No. Oh no. He wasn't our kinfolk at all.
That leads me to another question. Now, and I'm only speaking from my personal experience. When
Hmm.
I was growing up and finding myself attracted to the neighborhood boys and girls and what have you, I remember this kid when we lived in Washington, in Tacoma, Washington. For the sake of this story, we're going to call him Ashton. And Ashton was this cute little blonde fellow with the blue eyes, and it was just something about him that was
Mm.
it just made me feel. And I think that that wrinkle in my brain in put an impact as to the I don't know. I just had a fond memory of blondes for a real long time because of the way that Ashton made me feel.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Right. And so then I went to um, an all black school and did all of these things. And I never fell in love again
Hmm.
until college. And that was with another blonde boy.
Mm.
And I
Right.
think that there was a in my head an association between the two. I broke that pattern many years ago, but it was that was just the way that I associated my worth and my affection was through this comparison to the ideal fantasy of male.
Yeah, I agree to that too. Because even growing up, looking at like in the middle of the night searching gay porn, like
And they
it
all
was,
look like that.
yeah,
And
they all look like
and
that.
we were all told that that was what we were supposed to be into.
Yep.
So anything outside of that, and when looking around, especially when I was that young and trying to explore who it is that I wanted and what it is that I wanted, seeing no one in my vicinity that looked like me,
Hmm.
where what do you do? What's a bitch to do?
Exactly. Like
Well, you could become a raging narcissist, and I tried that, And it was glorious and also disturbingly lonely. So
Yeah,
that doesn't work.
right. And then you have to shut yourself out and then just let them abuse you, or you have to submit to them to the point of just like no return,
And
basically.
that doesn't work because
Exactly.
we've seen it. We've seen it.
Yeah.
And it is our brothers in arms, our cousins in arms, if you will, with the trying so hard to fit into that particular narrative of
Mhm.
if this is the version of black that's acceptable to them, this is the version of black that I will be.
Yeah. We always have to try to, it always feels like we're always trying to confine to what they want rather than what we necessarily want.
Or what's good for us, or it's in our best interest.
Exactly.
Now, cut to how are you negotiating through racism in these days on these streets in the time post COVID, not post current COVID,
Current post.
because what I'm noticing now is like racism, prejudice, all of this has been kind of bubbling. You were born in the I don't see color generation,
Hmm.
and that fucked us all up.
Oh
Because
yeah.
when I don't see color, what that does is erases out all of the struggle that we black folks have to go through and boils it down to the struggles of white people.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that white people don't struggle, but what I'm saying is white people who are struggling don't have the compoundness, the intersectionality of being black and the systemic complications that come with that, the institutional complications that come with that, the socioeconomic complications that come with that. So
Yeah.
when you're saying, I don't see color, you're choosing not to see the
Us.
intersectionality that exists in my black skin. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. You're choosing not to see us. You're choosing not to see and to view anything that's related to the diaspora of why we're trying to fight. And it's not fair that people are constantly saying, I don't see color, I don't see color, when clearly there's something wrong within the system that basically separates us, that makes you have to look at the fact that our skin color makes a difference. And people don't see that. And I don't understand.
You know, the most interesting thing that's been my response to that particular question. Well, I don't see color. Well, why is it on every single form that we have to fill out? If it's not important, why is it on every single document that exists for us? It's there for a reason. What's the
Yeah.
reason? If you don't see color, why is that there? And if you don't check something, if you don't check anything, they're going to come to you and say, I need you to pick. So
Yeah.
it's there for a reason. So if you don't see color, tell me why that's there. If racism isn't a thing, tell me why that's there.
Mm.
That's a very simple uh, response because you cannot and you can't answer that without answering everything, without answering all the racism. You can't answer it without.
Right. It's pure racism.
It's pure racism. For
Like I
instance,
don't
on my driver's license with a goddamn picture on it, and you need to know my race, there's a picture. Why is it important? Why does the bank need to know what my race is? Why does my credit card company need to know what my race is?
Right.
Why does my leasing office need to know what my race is? My cell phone company, internet provider.
Wow. That's wow. It's insane. Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. Like, why do you need to know? Like, what difference does it make? I'm paying you and I'm providing you a service. If that's the case, like for like the I don't know where I was getting to that. Woo! But
I try to do one mind blowing thing per
mhm.
episode. That was my one. That was my nugget.
Yeah, that hit me there. I was just like, wait a minute. Um,
Now you're a oh, it is getting rainy. These are some heavy clouds over my apartment. Now you're a single person out in these streets, yes?
yes, amen.
How is dating in your 20s as a black, beautiful man in New
It
York? Because I hear that dating is, I've been off the market for several years, but
ooh,
well, okay, like four, but yeah,
still, hey, that's a long
that
time.
y'all, bitch, we survived coronavirus together. We were quarantined in this apartment for
Wow.
15 and a half months and got into zero arguments.
Oh wow.
Zero. That's my person.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere.
Oh yeah. I'll keep them forever.
I have no other choice. So tell me about dating in these streets as a beautiful black man.
It's interesting because recently, like I had to in recent days,
Mm-mm.
I've been leaving dates and hookups dry on the floor.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Oh, you have got to give me a story or three. I am very interested. Let me
So
lean in.
actually, it was last night.
What? Bitch, go.
So I'm going to I met up with this one guy. We're going out to the club. We're going out to the queue. It's all pretty handy dandy. We meet up, and he's supposedly straight, and I'm just like, okay, girl, let's not play
Wait,
games later.
he's straight and going to the queue. Y'all, the
Right.
queue is a big ass gay bar, like three floors in the middle of midtown Manhattan. It's
Mhm.
fabulous. Billy
It's
Porter gave some money, other rich gave money. Go.
it's fierce. And so like we're sitting there, we're in line, we get in, and like he offers Coke, and I'm just like, no. But
Wait, y'all get in the door and he already offering you cocaine. You met this man on the interwebs.
mhm,
And let me guess, he is not one of our cousins.
he's not one of our cousins.
Now, if y'all haven't followed me for a while, when I say one of my cousins, I mean a person of Black identity. That's what I usually mean. Go on with your story.
And
This
so
heterosexual man who offered you
very
cokes 2 minutes after you got inside the door of the club. Girl,
listen,
calm down.
and then talks about his podcast, And I was just like, oh, tell me more about your podcast and everything. And he was just like, oh, it talks about how I kind of endorse Trump. I was like, what?
I'm sorry. What? Okay, no. I need you to finish the story. Ooh, ooh, go
And I
on.
was just like, what do you mean you endorse Trump? And he was just like, well, he's not a bad guy. I was just like, thank you. I'm going. And I went with that. I was just like, no, no, no.
So you get on a train, go all, no, I'm sorry, let me rewind back. You meet this man, right? And you're like, oh, okay, he cute. We could probably touch shoulders. And
Mm-hmm,
you run around in the shower and move some things around, put all
mm-hmm,
your scents on, potions and
mm-hmm,
lotions, oils and butters, slide yourself into a fabulous costume because I'm sure
mm-hmm.
everything was tight, titties was sitting high, ass was perked. I
Everything.
know, I
Covered. Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
know. And you get down here now. Was he as cute as the pictures? Be honest.
Not
That means
really.
no. That means no. Don't give
No,
him any grace. Don't give him grace.
no, no,
Okay. So, was he as young as his pictures?
no,
Okay.
no. He was probably like 38, 40 type.
Okay. Now, I'm 48.
He looked it. There's a difference.
Yes, bitch. Oh, oh, you've become my new favorite person. So here he is now. He's a, we're going to say 38-year-old fluffy white man.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Mm-hmm.
didn't put any thought into his costume at all. Let me
Oh no.
guess, some frumpy ass jeans, some old tennis shoes, and a t-shirt.
Yeah. A little button down that he got from Costco, but you know,
No, let's give him some credit. It probably came from J. Crew Factory.
probably.
Y'all standing in line. Was there conversation in the line?
Yeah, there was conversation in the line.
Was
There
it
was
interesting?
it was interesting. It was me trying to calm him down of his straight oh, I'm too straight for this. I'm too straight for this. I was just like,
Who suggested going to the queue?
I said let's just go out. And we was in Midtown. He saw the queue. That's the thing. He saw the queue and I was just like, we need tickets to go there before. And he was just like, oh yeah, but the music is bumping and we could just go in and like party on. I was just like, okay.
Wait, let's rewind.
Hmm.
Was the queue your first stop with this man, or did you go out and have dinner or drinks or something with him before?
We went to Mickey's.
Okay.
We went to Mickey's first because I told him I said I was gonna be we met downtown and I was just like, okay, I know a spot. So we went to Mickey's Fellini, which had like the little $5 margaritas. So it was just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
all cute. And then I wanted to be responsible and come home and just enjoy myself and just with my roommates and stuff like that. But he was like, no, let's go out. And I was just like, okay, he wants to go out, let's go out. And then he saw the queue and he was just like, and at that moment, I was like, bitch, you can't hide that you're not gay. You're fucking gay. You're fucking gay. If you know about the queue and you want to enter the queue, child, come out this closet. Just come out. Just come out.
Now, at Mickey's,
Hmm.
was he talking out of the side of his neck?
He was. He
Mm-hmm.
was. because he started talking about the podcast once we got to the queue. But
What was he talking about at Mickey's?
he was what he was talking about. He was just like
It was bad. Were you now
it,
let me ask. When you got off the train and you
mhm.
walked up and you saw him at Mickey's, because did y'all meet at Mickey's?
Yes.
Now, when you walked up and you saw him there, did you have a little disappointment, sadness, tears in your face?
No.
Oh,
No,
you're
I
being
don't.
grace. Oh, that's good. That's good. You're not judgmental about looks. Good for you.
Mm,
Good for
no.
you.
We were there, and I was there ready to have a great old time. We were having a great conversation. Like once we got to Mickey's, it was a great conversation. Like we talked, we engaged. He was talked about music and talked about his DJing. And like I've talked to him before, and that's the thing. I've talked to him before. We've always talked about like music
Hmm.
and like the DJs, and because he was a huge raver way back when, he was just like, oh, I'm trying to get into the DJ scene and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh,
Hold that.
so
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
mhm.
I'm gonna give you some lessons, young,
Okay.
beautiful human. A man at 30, a white man at 38 years old, that's just like a 38-year-old trying to be a rapper.
Ooh, ooh, mm,
Now,
mm.
if you were a rapper in your 20s, then you took a break and then you made a new album. That's one thing. But breaking into rap in the rap game, what the fuck you rapping about at 38? Bills, your mortgage, your rent, your student loans. What the fuck you rapping about at 38? What are you DJing about at 38?
How to get more coke? Apparently, because
Anyway, so turns out you went on a date with a straight which app did you meet him on?
Grinder,
Okay.
and I don't go on Grinder like that. I don't go on Grinder like that.
Listen, no. Don't sex shame yourself like that. If you want to go on Grindr and meet some people to have your shoulders touched, that is absolutely your right. Don't
Sure,
don't do it. Don't ever yuck your yum.
for sure,
And
absolutely.
that's the smartest way. It's the most intelligent way. You can vet these bitches, and you're all like, you know what, crazy? You take your racist ass this way, your racist ass this way. I'm gonna see if I'll meet you out, have two or three drinks, then I find out you're a crazy Trump supporter offering me cocaine 2 minutes after I'd gotten to a bar. Your straight ass is claiming you've never been to a 38-year-old aspiring DJ.
And that's why I don't hop on Grinder. It's not because to try to sex save myself. It's because for some reason with Grinder, it's becoming like a constant type of situation. And not in this case, but like in another scenario, I met up another guy on Grinder,
Uh-huh.
and we met up at the park because I like to meet up at public locations and like had to have my Kiki. So when anything goes down, I'm in, out, and I'm away. And
That is very smart.
he he sat we sat down and we
Mm-hmm.
started talking, and what size is your big black cock? And I was like, skirt. Hold that thought. I'm going to the bodega real quick. Deuces. And I laughed. That's been Grinder for me lately. And I'm just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I can't. Like if you
It
can't value me as a human being in order for me to get the respect, in order for us to have like a pleasurable experience, then I don't want to deal with you. I don't fuck with you. No.
You don't get the opportunity to see how big or little or girthy or veiny any part of my penis is.
Right.
Remember, this beautiful penis is attached to a person. It's attached to a person, period. And it's so sad that you at 27, I all of the shit that you just said, minus grinder, because we didn't have that when I was 27, I don't think. But all of that I've dealt with myself.
Yeah.
And I'm 20 plus years older than you. There's no reason why you should still be navigating this.
Right.
But you know why? It's because we don't talk about race. It's because we, especially your generation, you were grown, probably raised in a more segregated experience than before Roe versus Board of Education. I'm sorry, that's not true. Brown versus Board of Education. Roe is the Roe versus Wade. Anyway, I'm getting my insult, my frustrations confused. Because I don't even want to talk about I don't even want to talk about men, white men controlling poor women's bodies. That I don't even want to talk about that. But
Not
that's all
Texas.
it is.
Not
You
Texas.
know it.
I
No, fuck Texas is going to happen everywhere. This is seriously like the prequel to The Handmaid's Tale. That's what it feels like. But yeah, ew. Ew.
I saw it. I saw this in the news. I saw it in the news. What was going on? And I was like, "Up here we go. White men are trying to control women's bodies again."
Again. No, not again. Still.
Right.
Not
Still.
again. Still. Because my argument has always been, I'm a man. Yeah. I have a penis. I don't have the ability to grow a human inside of me. I don't have that ability. Right? So if I don't have that ability, I have no skin in this game.
Right.
Period. And on top of all of that, why are we criminalizing the women and not doing anything to the men? And on top of that, show me one piece of legislation that has dominion over a man's body. There isn't one.
There isn't.
There isn't one. And on top of all of that, I know, Jennifer Lewis knows that if any one of those legislators, any rich businessman, any mid-level business, like anybody with money in Texas, their girlfriend, their mistress, or their daughter finds themselves in the family way, they'll just fly somewhere where they can legally get this taken care of and then fly back. And this will never apply to them. It's only criminalizing women who don't have options. Or fuck options. Again, it's not I have no skin in this game, and neither should any man, period.
Right.
Period.
Period. Here we go, Texas. Trying to take over women's bodies still.
And then Florida starting. But on top of all of that, we are still doing the most, also in Texas, the most restrictive voting is also happening. So, in addition to The Handmaid's Tale, we're also going back to pre-civil rights.
These white people want their rights.
You know your place, don't you, Kenzo? Don't get out of place, boy. You do what you're told to do. Don't you act
She.
up and you pull out that big old 20 some odd year old dick anytime I ask you for it, boy.
Oh no.
Ugh.
Oh no 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 no.
Doesn't that feel gross?
It's it's scary. It's scary.
How do you how do you navigate through that? You personally.
It sucks that it sucks that I say I try to like zone it out because like I don't want to think about it, but I have to be I'm constantly being reminded of it. But I know what I feel like I have faith in is just standing beside there's the people that are against it are constantly fighting. And so I had to stand with the people. And I not only educate myself, but also step forward and march and fight as much as I can because all our voices will be heard. And it's I just try to stand up as fight as much as I can because I know it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking and it's disgusting and it's not the America that we need.
But it's, you know what? It's the America that we've always had.
Yeah.
But she's now finally dropped her mask.
Yeah.
Everybody has felt so emboldened to show their hate. And we're seeing so how much racism is embedded into our system.
Yeah.
Well, it's not racism, it's white supremacy, actually.
Basically.
Yeah, it's why our company is built on a foundation of white supremacy. It always has been. And my personal opinion is you burn it all down and start over. It's my personal opinion. And I furthermore think that we've seen the fiasco that men have done to this country. And we need to just shut up, sit down, take a back seat, and allow someone with some sense to run this, to fix this. As per usual, women have to fix all kinds of mistakes that stupid ass men do. On our
Always.
quest for power, not saying that there are not power hungry women. That's not what I'm saying. But what
Right.
I'm saying is right now our system is built on the backs of a lot of poor people, black, white, brown, everybody, only to the benefit of a select few. And
Mm,
that's no way for anything to work.
right. You're right.
There's no way for it. It's not working. It's just not working. I was watching this documentary called Angry White America on on Amazon Prime. And it's exploring the anger that lives inside of white America and their what the far right are doing is using that anger and directing it toward black and brown folks.
Mm,
Technically, they're diverting it toward, because who they should actually be angry at are the people that we're angry at.
themselves.
But they it goes back to that thing that started that got poor white folks to fight in the Civil War. It's you don't have money, but at least you're not black, at least you're white, and you have to fight for our way of life because at least you're not black, at least you're not a slave. So you go out and fight our wars. These poor white people fought the Civil War. Plantation owners did.
They
Poor
sure did.
white folks fought the Civil War. So
Yeah.
when poor white people I'm sorry, when generationally white people are all like, the Civil War, my ancestors, those were poor white folks in most cases going to
Yeah,
fight for those poor white folks didn't have slaves, but they were also complacent in slavery. You see that?
yep.
You know, my family didn't have slaves. I know, but your family was complacent in slavery. So you
Mm,
acquiesced to it, whether you participated or not. You gave your permission by not doing anything. Just like when our white friends and family right now, when they're like, well, I'm not racist. I know, but you're complicit in the racism. If you're not saying anything, if you're keeping your mouth shut, you're part of the problem.
exactly.
You're allowing it. You're co-signing without saying anything. You're co-signing.
Basically, even when people have to shut out and tell people it's just like you're being an issue. You're constantly being the issue, keeping your mouth quiet about these issues.
Have you had to have that conversation with someone?
Oh, absolutely. All the time, and including with a lot of my close friends, where where it's just like not speaking up about like Black issues and not speaking up for the Black culture and the Black diaspora, being from the Bronx, like a lot of my friends from the Bronx, it's just like you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. How are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna sit there and tell me that that oh it's okay, but how are you gonna sleep with a guy and just be like, oh, it's okay that he's a police officer, but he has a big dick? And I was like, fuck his big dick. Like, he's a police officer. He's studying to. If this man doesn't see me as a Black man, why I get nervous and tense up around the police, then what the fuck are we talking about?
What are we talking about? So you're going to say, well, I know he's in the Klan, but he has a big dick. I know he's a white supremacist, but he has a big dick. I know he like hates Asian folks, but he has a big dick. I know he called you an N-word when we were out that night, but you know he has a big dick. He didn't mean it. He was just playing. You know it was just a joke.
And then it gets to
Girl, you
just
know
like
I don't have a racist bone in my body.
that part. You know me. No, bitch. According to me,
No, bitch, I don't. Apparently, I don't because you fixed your
don't
lips
know.
to say that.
I'm like, what? If I have to pull back and have to check my friend real quick and just be like, girl, what is with all this tomfoolery you speak of? Then I don't know you.
I don't know you. Clearly, we have never met
Right.
because if you even had an ounce of respect for me, you would have never fixed your lips to say something like that.
Period.
So clearly you don't respect me. Okay, somebody outside of my window right now. I live on the 9th floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can hear Rock the Boat by Aaliyah so loud you would think I was playing it in here.
Ah! Oh, that's
I mean, I
fabulous.
love the song, but there are a lot of old ladies in my building. And I'm sure they're up there getting their old lady swerves on, but you know, Nana's knees don't move like they used to.
Okay, listen. Nana's gonna have to stand up and pop lock real quick. Ah! Oh no.
Oh
That was really
hell! I would look down the street, hear Nana, just a line of Nana down there twerking it, dropping down low and sweeping the floor with it.
ah.
Talking about yes, bitch, yes. Flipping
Right.
new wigs, church wigs too, because you know it's
Right.
Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
Bitch, you are a mess. A mess, I tell you, a mess.
uh,
I'm very happy we had this conversation.
I am too. I am 100% glad we had this conversation.
I would urge you to send this recording to all your problematic friends and family, and you say, these are my thoughts. So now that you know that they're listening, say messages just to the problematic ones in your life.
I don't have the energy for that. I'm sorry, but I don't have the energy for that. I just cut them loose like birds and focus on the positive energies that come and manifest around me. Because they could be in the back corner over there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, if they've learned their lessons and they understand the error of their ways,
Mm-hmm.
I know the love and joy that resides in you will welcome them back in
Oh, for sure.
with caution. With caution. Say, bitch, you on probation. You in an in-school suspension.
Mm.
I'm
You go be in
watching
that
you.
little detention room in that corner. I'm gonna check
I'm
up on you.
watching you. I'm gonna check your work every 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's not how you spell that sentence, but you know.
Mm,
Okay.
mm.
Mm. I just gotta sip my little tea real quick.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You know, I have had the honor and joy of cutting out several people from my life over the course. And in doing so, I wish them only the absolute very, very best. But the one thing that I never do is return to a toxic relationship. And if I've cut you out of my life, that means that all of the joy and light and empathy that lives inside of me is done. Now, if you go on to become a beautiful, glorious, amazing human, I will admire you from afar. But I we parted ways because my soul told me we had to.
Yeah.
And it was the universe of my universe leads and guides. So if the universe says you're gonna have to let this bitch go, she's on a different journey. I do what I'm told.
Yep. If the energy says it's time to go, it's time to go.
So like, you know what, girl, our time was fabulous. You're gonna go off and do some wonderful things, but our time here is we're done.
Oh yeah.
Wait, friends are either for a, a season, a reason, or a lifetime.
Yep.
A season, a reason, or a lifetime.
Yep.
Yeah. And sometimes when you meet people, you know exactly where they are. Oh, this is a seasoned friend. And we're on a journey. We're going to do the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work in our time together. And then we're going to admire one another from afar. And I wish you all the best. And that's what I say to all of the ones, especially to my racist ex-boyfriend.
Yep.
I
Absolutely.
I wish him and everyone associated with him joy and light and happiness and love and forgiveness.
Amen.
I know that karma has an incredible way of balancing the scales. So if I live in light and joy, You've done your worst to me. I was with a fucking racist dude for X number of years. You've done your worst. Now I'm supposed to be in joy,
Right.
in love, and light, in glory.
Amen.
And on that note, Kenzo, my beautiful, beautiful new friend, I want to thank you very much for joining me on this conversation. And I'm a better person for having chatted with you.
Thank you for having me. And I'm a better person just having you in my life.
Oh no, bitch, you're not going anywhere. You're mine now.
Oh, I know. I
You're
know. We about
mine now. You're my little sister. This is my little baby. Oh, y'all, I got a little baby. Y'all, look at my little brown baby. Look at her. Lips, titties. Look at them titties. Come on, titties. Okay,
she's growing today. She got like
and I'm gonna keep her from dating racist white men. I'm gonna keep y'all, I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop it. We brought up another fact, y'all. We forgot something. Now, Kenzo and I were just discussing that we go to spaces where we're, one of sprinkles in a room full of white folks, just sprinkles.
Right.
And we see other Black queer men in, their circles of white friends.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we always, the Black folks in the room, always so shitty to the other Black folks in the room?
You know what I've always felt like? Especially I as a regular person who goes out frequently, I would sit there and observe and just like, and I always tell myself, or I tell a friend of mine, baby, this is not a competition. We have space too.
America's Next Top Token, that's not a competition. No one wants to win that competition.
Right.
And, in spaces like that, because I'm, again, a whisper older, I've gone up to other Black men in rooms full of white queers, and I'm like, hey, sis, we are not related. Oh, okay, bitch. I don't get it. I don't get it as if we're only, and I know that not all Black people get along. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
That's not what I'm not saying that if I walk into a room, every Black person in the room has to, oh, hey, sis, hey, girl. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if we know that we're only a handful in the room, why are we being so shitty to one another? Why are we being so mean to one another? Why are we being so vicious to one another?
It's
that plays into the narrative that we that we're hostile, that we're combative,
that we don't know how to talk to each other. Like, personally, I don't know the issue. I see the issue. It's crazy because I would go out and I would see us fellow cousins, and I'll just be like in the corner, hey, how y'all doing? And I'll go up and say hi. My little kisses. It's just like, it's good to see us folk in the room taking up, giving our energy into
being
our
here.
room.
Yeah.
Just being here. And then be like, yeah, and then get the immediate brush off. I'm just like, oh,
okay, girl.
All right.
Well, when shit pop off, don't look for me.
For real.
When shit pop off, when shit gets crunchy, don't look for me. When somebody talks out of the side of their neck to you, don't look for me. But you know what? But you know what? I know who I am. I will still stand up for her.
Absolutely.
I would still stand up for her because you are not going to steal my joy with your funky attitude.
Exactly. And I'm not going to let you look like we're, nope.
Nope. Not on this day.
Nope. Exactly.
Because I feel like we have the opportunity to be better versions of ourselves every single day and more inclusive without dialing ourselves down or homogenizing who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that as humans, we ruined that. I think no, but I 100% agree. I'm sorry.
Oh, so while we're still recording, I forgot to ask where people can find you, what they need to plug, what they need to do.
Ooh, where can you find me? You can find me on Instagram at Kenzo. You can
Hmm.
find me, yeah, basically on Instagram because I'm
Can they
basically on
find you
Instagram.
on Grinder and Scruff too?
Oh, you can find me on Grindr and Scruff. You can find me on Recon, but I'm not always on there because people act like chicken heads on there.
I appreciate that, but you're a single human out here in these streets trying to find shoulders to touch that are worthy of your touch
Mm-hmm. So
or
I walk.
worthy of being touched.
Oh, absolutely. So I walk down the street and pick me up a little groceries at one or
Oh,
two.
pick up some snacks on our walk around.
Okay, pick up
Come
some
on,
groceries.
come on, come on, young. Hi, snatch. Y'all, let me get off the phone with this hoe. Hey, y'all, that was hilarious, right? My conversation with Kenzo was eye-opening. And please feel free to like and subscribe. And I will see y'all next week. Be amazing. And remember, we can't fix a problem we're afraid to talk about. So let's continue to talk about race and racism.